Okay, so this is the final course I'll be talking about, and this is Certificate in Energy Renovation of Traditional Buildings. And next slide. Seamus briefly mentioned this. It was developed in collaboration with the Heritage Council, and it follows on from the successful Fundamentals of Energy Renovation of Traditional Buildings. It was a CPD course, and this was run by the Heritage Council and Heritage Conservation in 2019-2020. I attended that. It's a great course, and we had great discussions and looked at accrediting this at a level 8. Now, some great work previously carried out, and I need to mention, obviously, Colin Murray from the Heritage Council, but also Peter Cox and Caroline Engel-Purcell from Heritage Conservation. They did huge amounts of work in this, and it's a great course. I personally think it's a great course. And this is a special purpose award, and it has 10 credits. So it's over 2 semesters. There's also CPD being allocated to this. We've organised this already.
Get a strong cooperation.
So CPD is also provided by relevant professional bodies, and we'll confirm these as we go along. You know, when you've registered, we'll tell you where you get your CPDs from, because I think all professional bodies are going to approve the CPD as well on that. So if we move to the next, we'll look at who it's aimed at. So the course is aimed at upskilling building professionals like yourselves, enabling you to design and deliver high quality energy efficient renovations specifically aimed at existing traditional buildings. So what we call traditional buildings, we call pre-1940s. Obviously it fits 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s build. So, but that's our main focus was pre-1940s. But it puts you in a position to contribute to the climate action again, and reach the energy targets and green renovation of buildings. So it's the same focus as the retrofit programme we've just gone through. And it will be of interest to those wanting to expand the retrofitting capabilities in specifically in repair and modification of traditional construction. So talk about stone walls, your rubble even. Particularly with architectural and engineering defect detection and management. So it's very much aimed at conservation as well, protected buildings. So I'll move to the next slide. The entry requirements is level 7 in a relevant field, or those who comply with industry experience. If you're unsure of your experience criteria fits the entry requirements, contact us and we will advise you. It should be noted a great opportunity for the OPW, local authorities, the prison service with all their old buildings, private companies maintaining and upgrading traditional buildings. It's very useful for them to take this course. In fact, we have our own TUS estates who are participating, which is great to see as well, because obviously we hold a lot of old buildings, especially in Limerick. So they're very interested in this course also. So move to the next slide. There's 2 modules which run in different semesters. So if we look at the first semester, this is the Fundamentals in Energy Renovation of Traditional Buildings that I've talked about earlier, which was created previously. We've adapted this, and there are 4 main modules. So policy on energy in buildings and regulatory environment, you know, how this connects with Part L, etc. And SR 54, obviously, in particular, because that's retrofitting. Appraising a building. Triangle of moisture balance, because moisture is so important in all buildings, we all know that. Controlling that is one of the most important parts we have to consider when we're retrofitting. Achieving carbon reductions, so not just waste management, etc., but you know, how do you reduce what choice of materials you're going to use, etc., within the building. Opportunities and positive learning. And that looks at, you know, grants that are available as well. So all fits within that whole opportunities that you can take up. We have some fantastic guest speakers, some from the previous course, 4 or 5 of them from the previous course that was run, but all predominantly new, always some amazing case studies. I've already gone through a lot of these already, which Colin is doing a great job finalising all the details on that. And we're looking at, the idea of these case studies is to look at challenges and solutions in retrofitting these old traditional buildings. There's no point in showing something unless we can show you how things can be solved or how they should be solved or different options you can use. So that's the first semester, that's the first module. The second module, again, is this building defects detection and analysis module I talked about already in the retrofit programme. So this is the module that fits into 2 different courses we run, and that's some of the things we're looking at, having the modules. If you've done the module, you can be exempt and you can continue in the course. So the difference with this, and we will have emphasis placed on traditional build, not just retrofit, but in particular traditional build. So the next thing we'll look at, just the next slide, is the delivery. And on this, the time commitment, I suppose, which a lot of people are interested in, there's actually 30 hours contact in this first semester and 90 hours independent learning. There's a lot of reading that you can do, but I'm sure many of you have already read a lot of the material we're going to give you. But out of the 30 hours is mainly face-to-face, because the first module is based on 5 interactive lectures or workshops, should call them. And this is held at TUS at the Limerick School of Art and Design, which is in the centre of Limerick. And it's actually George's Quay is the venue. And these will be held every Friday, every 2 weeks. Now, we do know that many of you will find it difficult to go for all these lectures. We encourage you try to attend, but they will be recorded as well. We're recording all the lectures. The only parts you won't have recorded will be the workshops we'll be holding, the discussions we're holding. There'll be site visit to Limerick, because we're going to go to the City Exchange and be taken around there by the County Council. Thank you very much to Limerick County Council to helping us with this. And not just interactive workshops, we're also going to have some kind of bazaar to go through lots of new materials that are out there to help and advise, and we're inviting people from the industry to come and showcase their materials as well. Now, again, this is continuous assessment. 2 online quizzes to begin with, and they'll be mainly based on your reading materials or your video materials you'll be having for independent reading, but also from the recordings, from the lectures themselves. And this leads then to a final reflective renovation project. We want you to look at a project which fits the bill of a traditional building, and it can be any building, it doesn't have to be a dwelling or a kind, and then there'll be reflective aspects on that, you know, how does it relate to your work, how does it help you with your work, and what have you learned, etc., etc. We'll go in more detail, obviously, as the course progresses. The second semester, if you click to the next slide, again, is 30 hours and 90 hours self-study. This is predominantly online. So the online lectures and tutorials, and again, they'll be held in the evenings, 1 to 2 hours on once per week. But we also do have 2 interactive workshops. One based on digital tools, as I mentioned earlier, and there'll be an introduction to Wi-Fi on that. And we'll be using guest speakers. And the other workshop will be on VR training and defects, particularly looking at health and safety side of, you know, how defects affects that side of it. So again, it's continuous assessment, practical online digital assignments leading to a final project. And this final project is based mainly around the digital aspects of it, how you're using them, and you know how you would use them in real life on your day-to-day work life. So I've already mentioned this module is run in both courses, and a VR educational tool is being developed to support detection of defects in a cottage. This is what